Hey guys, I get a lot of questions when it comes to how to develop a successful diet and training plan. What's the best method? Is it this one on this magazine? Is it this one that the guy at the gym said I should be doing? Is it this one that's the new DVD? So what I thought I would do here is just outline a short video just to explain a few things that you should be asking yourself and looking at first before making a choice to step forward in your health and your fitness goals. So first things first, develop a strategy. Now what I mean by that is every single person I come across just kind of, they make a conscious effort to join a gym or choose a diet lifestyle, but they're not sure why they're doing it or how is it going to benefit them. So I would really look at first is just kind of sit down, pen and paper, and look at your goals. Is it short term? Is it long term? What's a time scale in terms of how much time a day and a week do you have? What's your experience with training? What's your experience with dieting? What's your accessibility to in terms of gym? Just all these different things. Think about them, put it down onto paper, and just really map out what's going to be a realistic approach to yourself. Now this comes on to point number 2, which is be really clear on the things that you like and you don't like. Now, not enough people do this. Not enough people they feel like they've got to cut out the things that they like. So you like a piece of chocolate, so it goes. It's classed as bad food. But just because it's classed as bad or junk or whatever, it doesn't mean to say you can't eat it. It doesn't have a place in your life. Because if removing things is going to stop your progress, then maybe you should think about keeping it in your life. Think about more inclusion as opposed to exclusion. So if you can make something fit into your life, make it. Sometimes you're going to have to make some sort of short-term sacrifice. That's okay too, but be aware of that, and also be aware of the things that you don't like. Don't force yourself to eat something or train a certain way or do a specific thing just because, again, the information is there and it's what somebody else is doing or something else recommends. Be very clear on that with yourself. And this takes me on to my third point, which is know your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, not enough people do this. If your strengths are, you have more energy in the evening, so train in the evening. Don't force yourself to train in a specific time of day that's going to make you dislike it, that's going to make your training progression move backwards. If you've got a specific weakness, don't go down that route either. So again, when it comes to the previous point, be very aware of what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and lean on your strengths, move away from your weaknesses, because again, this is going to be vital when it comes to your progression and your long-term strategies. So again, point number 4, this brings me on to don't be afraid to assess and make any changes to your strategies. Now, don't confuse that with program and diet hopping, because this is where people tend to fail. What I mean is, when you begin a new fitness, health, training, diet program, or whatever you're choosing to do, you always have to be assessing. If you're choosing to squat a specific weight, then how are you going to know you're progressing without assessing, your weight progression? It's the same with when it comes to dieting. If you've got a diet goal in mind, then you should be taking measurements, you should be taking weight, you should be taking photographs, you should be assessing your progress. And then when your progress slows down, assess it, make the changes, move forward, keep yourself moving forward. But don't change what you're doing completely. Only change the small parts that you feel like they could make the biggest effect. So the minimum dose for the largest effect. Don't forget that. But again, don't confuse it with diet or program hopping. Just because something's stalled or something's slowing down or something's maybe even moving backwards, don't view that as a way to just assume that it's not working or it's not for you and then jump on to the next thing, because by doing that, that's the surest way to continue to move backwards. So the next thing is One of the things that I like to look at, and it brings me on to the next point, is don't plant too many seeds. Now, what people assume that they have to do is they have to completely pepper the field of seeds. They cover all their bases and create more bases just to keep covering them. Avoid doing this because you're spreading yourself far too thin. And the more you spread yourself thin, you're gonna start moving backwards. You're gonna stall in your training in terms of like strength, energy. You're going to create more stress. You're going to give yourself less time. You're going to think too much. So your focus is going to go. Again, you're going to overthink things. You're going to create a pink elephant off of a small like blip. You'll oversee your own progression by focusing on the negative. So don't spread yourself too thin. Focus on the things, the 2 to 3 things that you can do really, really well, and do them well continuously. Develop the habits, develop the consistency, the daily consistency, and the more you develop that, you're going to have successful days, successful weeks, successful months, and you're going to reach your goals so much more faster. So again, don't spread yourself thin. Focus on the 2 or 3 big wins that you can do that you're really good at, and then continue to hit them. Once you become successful in 1 or 2 of them, move on to the next 2. Focus on the next 2 things, and again, just focus on them. So go win where it matters, succeed where it matters, and continue to do that. So just look at these points here, really question whether you're doing them. If you're not, again, go back to point number 1, develop a strategy. Just keep going over these points. It doesn't matter whether you're a novice, intermediate, or advanced. If you continue to go over this, you will continue to succeed in your fitness, health, training, or whatever goals that you've currently seeking to do.